finish a few minutes late because we're starting a little later because of my ramblings. So just get yourself nice and comfortable, and we're going to come into Praviti Mudra. So same as last week, it's going to be the same until we come towards spring. So your ring finger and thumb come together and the rest of the fingers are straight. So if you want to use it, you don't have to use it if you don't want to, and then just resting the hands on the back of the legs or the wrists on the back of the legs, sitting nice and tall and just closing your eyes. So we're just going to begin with some pranayama breath work before we start moving into this evening's class. So just focusing on your breath for a moment and noticing how you're feeling. So just check in with yourself, ask yourself mentally, how am I doing right now? How am I feeling? There is a full moon tomorrow, so maybe that's affecting your energy. Full moon in Leo, fire is bubbling inside of us. So just connecting to that breath. And we're repeating the same pranayama that we did last week, so samavriti, which means equal breath. So when we do come to our breath work, I will count it. We'll start at a count of 4 and then we'll build to a count of 6. And then I will just use the singing bowl, tap the singing bowl to signal the inhalation and the exhalation. So just trying to deepen the breath, taking the breath down into the belly if you can. And slowly exhale. And again, nice big breath in. And slowly exhale. Final big breath. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. Just return back to your normal breathing rhythm. In and out through the nose. Maybe just start to bring some movement back in. So if you need to stretch your legs out or move the hips from side to side, do whatever you need to do just to release off through the body. So we're going to begin by massaging one of the marma points. So for those of you that haven't practiced this class before, marma points are what's used in Ayurvedic medicine, and they're very similar to acupressure points. So they're centers that store energy and build up of energy. So the one that we're going to be massaging is the Apalapa marma point, and this helps to release tension from the shoulders and open up the chest. So just finding your collarbone. So I'll come a little closer to the screen so you can see me a bit better to begin with. So just finding your collarbone, and then between the collarbone and the armpit, you're going to bring your thumb and start to massage in there. So between the crease of the armpit and your collarbone. So just noticing how it feels. It's quite tender, maybe just taking it nice and easy. And then we're just going to release, and we're going to tap down the arm. So the side that you've massaged is the side we're going to tap. So we're tapping along the lung meridian. So the lung meridian helps with asthma, any breathing issues that you might experience in winter, congestion, sinus issues, any of that kind of stuff. So create a nice loose fist and just start to tap underneath the collarbone, and you're going to go down the inside of the arm all the way down to the very tip of the thumb, and then all the way back up. So you decide how firm you want to go. The firmer you go with the tapping, the more energetic it is, so the more it'll lift your energy. And if you want to go a little softer and more gentle, it'll bring your energy down a little. So just, you know what you need. And last time, back up the arm. Release, and we're going to come on to the other side. So finding your collarbone and then bringing the thumb just in between the collarbone and the crease of the armpit, and just start to massage in there. It's right where the microphone is, so I'll try not to move it too much. So just getting stuck in and seeing how it feels on this side compared to the other side. And then just releasing, and again create your fist and start to tap under the collarbone, and then down the inside of the arm, right the way down to the thumb and back up. I'm just trying not to hit the microphone on this side. And last time, back down the arm, all the way back up. And then just bringing the fingers to the head, the fingertips to the head. So if your hair's quite tight, if it's tied up, you might want to loosen it and really start to press quite firmly into the scalp, just giving yourself a nice head massage. So self-massage is really encouraged in Ayurveda. And right now, Vata season that we're in, winter season, a good oil to use would be sesame oil. It's also a good oil to oil pull with. So you put a bit in your mouth and you swish it around for 5 minutes and spit it out. I highly recommend it. I've been doing it for a long time. And then just giving yourself a little squeeze in at the shoulders. And then wrapping the arms over the chest, taking hold of the shoulders to give yourself a nice big hug, and start to squeeze all the way down the arms. Coming towards the hands, interlace the fingers, and just rolling those wrists. And going in the opposite direction. So the element that's associated with Vata is air. So when our joints crack and creak, they say that's Vata in our body. It's the air in the joint spaces. And then just release and squeeze in all the way back up the arms. Squeezing the shoulders, and then bring yourself into a child's pose. So bringing the forehead down onto the floor, arms alongside the body, but if that doesn't work, you can take a wide like child pose if that works better for you, and extend the arms. So just taking a couple of breaths here. Just allow the lower back to release and the hips to sink towards the heels. Just a couple more breaths here in child's pose. And then just slowly bring yourself back up to seated. Interlace those fingers again and just rolling those wrists out again. So going in one direction and then changing in the opposite direction. Just releasing off, maybe shaking the hands out a little, wriggle the fingers, and then bringing the hands onto the shoulders. We're just going to circle those arms as big as you can. Again, just paying any attention to any cracks in the shoulders, noticing how you feel. And if you feel quite tight, so paying attention to that as we move into our puppy pose in a second. And then just releasing the hands down. So we're going to take a nice big breath in through the nose. And as we inhale, we're going to lift the chest and lift the gaze. And as we start to exhale, we're going to sink the back, bring the chin towards the chest. So really round that back. Inhale, start to stick the chest out and lift the gaze. Exhale, rounding the back, chin to chest. 2 more, inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Coming back to center when you're ready to. So we're just going to take a gentle twist. We're going to do it twice on each side. So you can sit with your legs crossed if that's more comfortable for you. Whichever way you're sitting, you're going to bring your left hand over towards the right leg. Right hand comes behind and you just take the gaze back over the shoulder. So very gentle twist. And then release, coming over to the other side. So right hand to left leg this time. Taking the gaze back over the left shoulder. And then once more on each side when you're ready, back to the right side. And then back to the left. Nice. So let's come into tabletop then. So knees underneath the hips, wrists underneath the shoulders, and we're going to move through some cat-cow. So as we begin to inhale, we drop the belly, we lift the chest and we lift the gaze. And as we exhale, we tuck the tailbone under, round the back, bring the chin to the chest. Inhale to drop the belly. And exhale, tucking under, rounding the back. Really press the hands into the mat. Inhale. And exhale. And coming back to a neutral spine. So you're going to keep the hips fixed where they are. Don't allow the hips to move. And begin to walk the hands forwards, coming into our puppy pose. So you're going to start to bring the forehead down to the mat. So just be mindful. So if you notice that the shoulders and the chest felt quite tight when you was doing the circles with the hands on the shoulders, just take it easy in this first one. We're going to be coming to puppy pose a few times in the class, so you've got an opportunity to go a little stronger later if you need to. So just a few more breaths here. Maybe just noticing if the body is starting to release. And then lift the head away from the mat. And you're going to come to lay down on your tummy. So shifting the weight forwards. And hopefully you should end up straight in your Sphinx pose. So the elbows are underneath the shoulders, forearms are down and hands are pressing down into the ground. Just allow the head to roll from side to side. So just loosening off the neck as much as possible. And then bring the head back to center when you're ready to. So we're going to bring all of our awareness to our core and squeeze the thighs together as much as you can. So start to tuck the toes, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze with those legs as much as you're able to. Really start to engage the core muscles. On your inhalation, you're going to lift up into a forearm plank. If that's too strong on your lower back, then lift the hips first and then lift the knees and slowly lower down as you exhale. We're going to do that 2 more times. When you're ready, squeezing everything as much as you can. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Last one. Inhale to lift. And this time as you exhale, you're going to drop the knees and you're going to come back to your child's pose. So take the knees nice and wide, big toes together, forehead comes down to the mat. And then when you're ready, we're going to transition into downward facing dog. So lift the head, lift the hips up nice and high, and just start to have a little pedal out through the backs of the legs. So the feet hip distance apart. Keep pressing the chest towards the thighs. Head stays relaxed. I'm really pressing down through those fingers. So pressing the index finger and the thumb as much as you can into the mat. We're trying to get those hands nice and flat. So chest to thighs. And then we're going to start to bend the knees as much as we can. So bend the knees and we're squatting down. So we're in our down dog, but we're squatting as much as we can, hips towards the heels, and then slowly straighten the legs out. Let's do that again. Squatting, bending the knees, hips towards the heels, and then straighten the legs. And last one, bending, hips to heels, and release and straighten the legs. Start to walk the hands towards the feet. So you're coming towards the back of your mat in a forward fold. So the head is relaxed, the knees are nice and soft. You can either allow the arms to flop towards the floor or you can take hold of opposite elbow. So whichever option feels best for you. And then maybe just bring some movement into your fold to sway from side to side, move the head around, shake it yes and no. Just trying to release off the back of the body as much as possible. And then if you've got hold of the elbows, just allow them to drop down towards the floor. Keep the knees nice and soft and you're going to start to roll yourself vertebrae by vertebrae all the way up to stand. So take it nice and easy, rolling the shoulders down and away from the ears until the head comes up last. So we're standing hip distance apart and the knees are staying nice and soft. Bring the arms out in front of you. Palms are going to be facing down. We're going to exhale and start to bend the knees and push the hands down. So you're pushing the energy downwards. And as you inhale, we flick the palms and we start to rise. We exhale to push down, bringing the energy down. And as we inhale, we draw the energy up. One more time, exhale and inhale. Nice. You're going to turn the feet out towards the corners, the edges of the mat if you like. You might want to take your legs a little wider for this. We're going to bend the knees and we're going to rest. Sorry, I feel like I'm not on the screen there. We're going to bend the knees and we're going to rest our elbows or forearms on the thighs. So the hands just come together, resting, maybe loosely interlacing the fingers. As you inhale, you're going to start to lift the chest and lift the gaze. As you exhale, you're going to round that back and bring the chin to the chest. Inhale to lift the chest, lift the gaze. Exhale, round in the back. And again, last one, inhale. And exhale. And just coming into a fold, so release the hands down to the floor. You might want to bring the feet back in line with the hips, so knees stay soft. Bring the hands onto the backs of the legs, so the bum, the thigh, top of the thigh, and just start to massage, rub or squeeze all the way down the backs of the legs. So we're just waking the legs up all the way down to the ankles. And then we're going to walk the hands forwards and we're going to come into a high plank. Slowly lower yourself all the way down to the floor. Arms are going to come alongside the body. We inhale to lift the legs, lift the arms, the chest, and the gaze. Exhale, slowly release. Inhale, push yourself back into a wide leg child's pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, walk the feet to the top of the mat. We exhale to pause. Inhale, bring the hands to the shins, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, start to bend the knees, sit the hips down low. We're going to come straight into chair pose, extend the arms. Exhale to fold forwards. Inhale, step back into high plank. Exhale to lower yourself all the way down to the floor. Arms come alongside the body. Inhale to lift everything away from the floor. Exhale, release. Inhale, push back into child's pose. So try and slow the breath right down. Downward facing dog. And then slowly walk the feet to the top of the mat. And we pause here as we exhale. Inhale, come to find your chair pose, bend the knees, sit the hips down low. Exhale to fold forwards. Inhale, step back into high plank. Exhale to lower yourself all the way down. Arms alongside the body. We inhale to lift away from the floor. And exhale, release. Inhale back into child's pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, walk the feet to the top of the mat. Exhale, pause. Inhale, find chair pose, bend the knees. Exhale to fold, 2 more rounds. Inhale, step back to high plank. Exhale, lower yourself down. Arms alongside the body, we inhale to lift. And exhale to release. Inhale, child's pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, walk the feet to the top of the mat. Exhale, pause. Inhale, bend the knees, sit the hips low, chair pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift the body away from the floor. Exhale, release. Inhale, child's pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, walk the feet to the top of the mat. Exhale, pause. We're going to slowly inhale and roll ourselves up to stand. So take your time as you come up to standing. Well done. Keep the knees nice and soft, feet hip distance apart. Bring the arms out in front of us again, palms down. Exhale to push the energy down, bend the knees. Inhale, turn the palms, draw the energy up. Exhale, draw down. Inhale, draw up. Exhale. And inhale. Rest the arms alongside the body. You're going to step your left leg back. So the left toes are going to turn out so they're facing the long edge of the mat. The right toes remain facing forward. Start to bend into the right knee. So just make sure the right knee isn't coming in front of the ankle. Arms come to shoulder height into warrior two. So gazing down the middle finger on the right hand. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. So just take a moment to settle into your warrior two. Make sure that front knee isn't collapsing inwards. Nice deep breaths, feeling strong in this pose. And then we're going to move through our flow. So when you're ready, inhale, straighten the front leg, lift the arms. Exhale, bend back into that knee, hands come in front of the heart center and we push the hands away. We inhale to lift. And we exhale to bend that front knee, hands in front of the heart center, push the hands away. Inhale to lift, arms overhead. Exhale, sinking back into that knee and then pushing the hands away. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Take a nice big breath in, and as you exhale, you're going to bring the right forearm to the thigh and extend the left arm over the ear, taking the gaze towards the palm of the hand. So keep rolling that left shoulder back, keep the chest nice and open. Take a breath in. Exhale, windmill the left hand down to frame the front foot, and you're going to drop your left knee down to the floor. So bringing both hands on the inside of our right foot, just start to circle the hips around. Again, just noticing if there's any cracks or creaks, changing direction. And we're just trying to release any excess batter from the body. And then you're going to step the right foot back, coming into tabletop. So just readjust the knees so the knees are under the hips and start to walk the hands forwards, coming back into that puppy pose. So forehead comes to the floor, arms are extended. And maybe noticing if you're able to go a little further in this pose now that you've warmed up a little. And then slowly lift the head. You're going to shift the weight forwards and come to lay down on your tummy straight into our Sphinx pose. So just taking 3 breaths here. Really pressing into the forearms. Begin to bring all of your awareness to your core. You're going to start to squeeze those thighs as much as you can, tuck the toes, and when you're ready, you're going to lift up into your forearm plank. Inhale to lift, so you can lift the hips first and then the knees. And then as you exhale, you're going to come back into your child's pose. So take the knees nice and wide, sit the hips back towards the heels. And then inhale, coming into a downward facing dog when you're ready to. And walk the feet towards the top of the mat. And slowly roll yourself all the way up to stand. So keep the knees soft. And rolling the shoulders away when you get there. So this time I'm going to step our right foot back. So again, turn the right toes so that they face the long edge of the mat. Left foot is forwards and we're bending into the left knee. Arms come to shoulder height, gazing down the middle finger on the left hand this time. So again, just make sure that the left knee isn't coming in front of the ankle. Take a moment, settle into your warrior two pose. Really pressing equally between both feet if you can. And then we begin our flow. So we inhale to lift the arms, straighten the front leg. Exhale, hands come in front of the heart center and we push the hands away. Inhale to lift. And exhale to sink back into that knee, pushing the hands away. Inhale. And exhale, sinking back down. Last one. Inhale to rise. And exhale to lower. Take a breath in. As you exhale, bring the left forearm to the thigh, extend the right arm over the ear, taking the gaze towards the hand. Remembering to keep the chest open. A few more breaths here. Take a big breath in, and as you exhale, you're going to windmill the hands down to frame that front foot, and then drop your right knee down. So bring the left hand on the inside of the left foot. You might want to take the left foot out towards the side slightly to create space in the hips, and start to circle those hips around. And then changing direction. And then we're going to step our left leg back, come to tabletop, align the knees and the hips, and start to walk the hands forwards, coming into puppy pose. Last breath. Slowly lift the head, shift the weight forwards, laying on your tummy, straight into Sphinx. Deep breaths here. Begin to draw all your awareness to your core. Start to tuck those toes, squeeze the thighs together as much as you can. And when you're ready to, you're going to inhale and lift yourself into your forearm plank. Exhale, come to find your child's pose. Take the knees nice and wide. Inhale, downward facing dog. And just take a couple of breaths here in your down dog. So if you need to keep pedaling out through the backs of the legs, if they feel tight still, then feel free to move around. And then we're going to inhale, lift the right leg up as high as you can towards the ceiling. As you exhale, you're going to bring that leg underneath the body, place the shin down on the floor, and settle into your pigeon pose. So the knees lined up with the right hand and the ankle is lined up with the left hand. So when I say lined up, they're not touching. It doesn't have to be that high, but when you look down at where they are, they're kind of lining up in the same place. So just take a moment here, try and keep the hips nice and level. If you feel okay and your body's quite open this evening, then you can come straight down onto the forearms if you want to, but just make sure that you don't start sinking into the right hip too much. I'm going to try and keep them as level as you can. And if you want to come all the way down and rest the head, then feel free to rest the head. Just a few more breaths here. And when you're ready, you're going to start to make your way back up onto your hands and drop yourself on the outside of the right thigh, and you're going to swing the left leg around. So we're coming straight into Janu Shirshasana setup. So the right foot is on the inside of the left thigh. Inhale, extend the arms overhead. Exhale to reach as far forward as you can, so you're hinging forwards at the hip. And then relax the head and neck when you get to your maximum point. So trying to keep that front leg nice and straight. Trying to breathe deep here. And with each exhalation, just seeing if you can go a little deeper into the stretch. And then slowly release and bring yourself back up seated. You're going to straighten the right leg out. And we're going to set up for our Navasana. So first Navasana, there's only two. So bending the knees, hold around the backs of the thighs, lean back slightly, lift the chest, really engage the core, and start to lift the heels away from the floor. Release the arms from the legs. And maybe if you're able to, straighten those legs a little more. Relax the shoulders. Last breath. And release. Let's come back over onto our tabletop position. We're going to come straight back into our puppy pose. So walking those hands forward, bringing the forehead down towards the floor. Last breath. Lift the head away from the floor, shift the weight forwards, come to lay on your tummy. 3 breaths in our Sphinx pose. Keep pressing the forearms into the mat. Begin to draw all your awareness to your core. Start to tuck the toes, squeeze the thighs together as much as you can. And when you're ready, you're going to lift up into forearm plank. Exhale, drop the knees, come back to your child's pose. Inhale, downward facing dog. And just take a few breaths here in your down dog before we come on to the other side. So let's inhale, extend the left leg as high as you can, nice and high. And as you exhale, you're going to sweep that leg underneath the body, place the shin down on the mat and start to wriggle the right leg back. So you're lowering yourself down. So just take a couple of breaths on your hands, noticing how you feel on this side. And if you feel ready to, go ahead and drop in onto the forearms or bringing the head all the way down to the floor. Just a few more breaths in pigeon. And then pushing yourself up onto your hands. You're going to drop onto the outside of the left thigh this time and swing that right leg around. So placing the sole of the left foot on the inside of the right thigh. Inhale, extend the arms overhead. Exhale to fold forwards, hinging at the hips, trying to lengthen the spine as much as you can, and then relaxing the head and neck. Slowly release, bring yourself back up to center when you're ready to. Straighten the left leg out. And again, bend the knees, hold around the backs of the thighs. Start to lean back slightly, and when you're ready, go ahead and lift the feet away from the floor. Release the hands from the legs. And if you're able to, maybe start to straighten those legs. Last breath. And release. Well done. Back into tabletop for the last time. And coming into our puppy pose. 3 breaths here. Slowly lift the head Shift the weight forwards, come to lay on your tummy, straight into Sphinx. 3 breaths. Start to bring all your awareness to your core. Tuck the toes. Begin to squeeze the thighs together as much as you can. And when you're ready, inhale, lifting up into your forearm plank. And then lower the knees, coming to find child's pose. So we're just going to stay here in child's pose for a few breaths. And when you're ready, you're going to make your way to seated. So lifting the head away from the floor, bringing the soles of the feet together, coming into Baddha Konasana. So the heels are nice and close to the center of the body. And then we're just opening out the feet and just start to massage the soles of the feet with the thumbs. So really pressing the thumbs into the feet. And if feet gross you out, then you can just sit here and enjoy the stretch. So we're just trying to do some grounding work, bringing the energy back down. And then we're just going to deepen the stretch in the hips, just holding around to the toes maybe, and very gently pressing the elbows into the calves. That's if you want a stronger stretch. If it's strong enough for you as you are without pressing, then you don't have to press if you don't want to. And then slowly release, bring yourself back up to center if you went for a fold. Take the feet further forwards, coming into yin butterfly. So feet stay together, and we're just going to exhale and fold forwards over the legs. So you can either keep the hands on top, or you can bring the arms underneath the legs if you want a stronger stretch. And relax the head and neck. So just trying to relax as much as you can in this. So no tensing, relax the hands, relax the fingers, and relax the face. Couple more breaths. And then bring yourself back up to seated. And you're going to come to lay down on your back. We're just going to finish with a twist before we come straight into Shavasana. So laying yourself down, just hook the knees in towards the chest. If you need to release off the back, maybe rock from side to side. I'm going to keep the legs together this evening. So really squeeze them as high up into the chest as you can. Keep those knees nice and high. And we're going to drop both of the knees over towards the left side, making sure that the right shoulder blade stays on the floor. If you have the space, maybe extending the arms out at shoulder height and turning the head towards the right side. And then slowly bring yourself back to center. So again, just squeeze those knees in towards the chest. Try and keep the knees nice and high, and then slowly drop them over towards the right side and make sure that the left shoulder blade stays down on the floor. So again, extend the arms out maybe, turn the head in the opposite direction. And then slowly untwist. Bring yourself back to center, and we're going to come straight into Shavasana. So if you need to grab any layers to make yourself comfortable, to make yourself warm, feel free. I'll just give you a moment to grab blankets, eye pillows, socks, whatever it is that you need. And then you're going to come to lay down with the legs apart. Just take the legs nice and wide, arms alongside the body, palms facing up. And just tuck the chin slightly just to lengthen through the back of the neck. And close the eyes, wriggle the jaw from side to side. Just release any tension from the face. Just taking a big breath in through the nose and maybe just sighing out through the mouth. And as you release the breath, just noticing your body becoming heavy and sinking deeper into the ground. Just begin to deepen your breath. And slowly start to move your fingers and toes, gradually waking the body up. Maybe take a stretch or bring the knees into the chest. And when you're ready, you're going to roll onto your side. Just coming into the fetal position, just taking a moment there. And then ease yourself up to seated when you're ready to. And bringing the palms of the hands together in front of the heart center. Gently bowing the head. Thank you for joining me this evening. Namaste.